Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So I caught myself explaining something to my husband I'd explained before, that we've created a list of the things we tend to eat every day. In our case, apples, spinach, bananas, several other things, celery, lemons. And I suggest that he look at that list, look at those items. So when he goes to the store, he's checking which things we need so he doesn't have to make two trips. And it's now, whatever it is, the third time that I'm explaining this because he's taking a second trip to a store. And all of a sudden, this knowing comes upon me. Logic is not the highest authority. And I realized in that moment that I've basically been a logic aholic. The efficiency just seems like it's got to be the best way. And I am not correct. And I start looking for, okay, well, how can I explain this to my mind? My mind wants to be attached to this. And a few things come into, how, for example, I can come up with any explanation for something that I want. If I want something, I can find an explanation to support it. And if I switch to wanting the opposite thing, I can find a logical explanation to support that. Okay, so logic can be used in a multiple of ways. So that comes into my head. Then something else comes into my head. I have a friend who, she may not like the smell of a place we're going. And rather than simply saying, oh, that's just not a good scent to me, I prefer to go over here, she will do something very dramatic. This is awful. I can't imagine what's going on here. Ugh. And she kind of goes on until you take the hint. I take the hint and say, well, perhaps we could walk over here instead. It's like she's afraid to just simply ask for what she'd like. And I realize my logic is simply a way of avoiding simply asking for what I want. I would like such and such. And if Daniel wants to do it a different way, wonderful. Really, when it comes down to it, we are in this network that's being moved exactly right. Sometimes it may look logical and sometimes it may not, but it's all essential. So this justification of please do something this way by explaining some logical argument is just the same thing my friend was doing. Rather than simply requesting a preference, she's like making it dramatic. I'm making it a logical defense for no good reason. How it will be is how it will be. In fact, perhaps it's very important he goes to the store two times in one day, because then he's going to meet exactly who he's supposed to meet that day, and I'd be stopping him if he followed my ideas. And then the last thing came in, and this was it was like the universe putting the icing on the top to say, you have to let go of this logic stuff, Lisa. So we were many years ago picking where we would live, and redwoods rose to the top, and I looked at several cities that were near the redwoods, and at the time, two of the cities were Willits and Fort Bragg. We live in Fort Bragg. Willits is about 40 miles inland from us. And as far as just access to general things like stores and airports and other places that we travel, Willits is by far the more convenient. But Fort Bragg has cooler weather and we live a mile from the ocean, so it's right on the coast. If I had gone by logic, some of those other things would have come up, the access to easier transportation, airports, etc. It might have landed on Willits. Fortunately, the universe orchestrated it. There wasn't a job available in Willits. There was a job available in Fort Bragg, and many, many things felt right into place that just Fort Bragg easily became the place we were moving to. Now, having lived in Fort Bragg, having driven through Willits oodles of times, clearly Fort Bragg is the place for us. Fortunately, the universe wasn't listening to my logic. The universe knew something, a much deeper harmony. So something in me just kind of finally just gave way. I am not going to try to create a case with logic for anything. What arises is the perfect design, way bigger than this mind could formulate. So it's as though there's been, little pieces of the logic addiction kind of dropping away, but the castle has crumbled. So here's a confession of a previous logicaholic. Goodbye. The appetite for logic as more than just a plaything is gone. And it's so wonderful the way the universe just gently invites. I could see the suffering my attachment to logic was causing. But now there's just this distaste. Just so much distaste. It's, I have to admit, when my friend is doing that, oh, this smells horrible, blah, blah, blah. It's not my favorite moments with her. Now I feel the same way about making a logical case. It's like, oh, it's distasteful. Thank you, universe. And I just want to share this experience of how, as I've just opened more and more to this amazing harmony that we live as, the efforts to add formulations, add descriptions, add ways things should be, just keep crumbling and crumbling. So welcome to your experience, I'm sure, on many, many similar avenues as this. We get to fall away, and what we truly are rises in its brilliance.